Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this edition of the Suzette Speak Show. I have a very special guest. She's no stranger to those of us who live in South Florida. She is one of the hardest working women in her city. She hails from a beautiful island country, Haiti, and she's now serving as a public official in the city of North Miami Beach. But why I brought her on is because I'm so excited for her because she has a brand new book out. And this book is about the epic ways you can achieve success. So whether you're watching on my YouTube channel, welcome, or you're watching on Facebook or on even LinkedIn, big up yourselves. Please leave a comment. Please do like, please do share. And without further ado, I'd like to bring up my friend in full disclosure and a dynamic woman who is changing lives in her community. Please welcome. Is it the first time you've been on this show? I'm kind of surprised, actually. For the very first time on the Suzette Speak Show, Miss Daniela Jean, how are you?
Well, I am excited to be here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sis. I know we got a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to jump in and do, have you do an introduction of yourself. Introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about yourself. And welcome.
Absolutely. So my name is Daniela Jean, currently serving as a commissioner for the city of North Miami Beach, as was mentioned, but so many more things. I'm a professor. I am an author, a creative, a person that loves people, a problem solver, and a social strategist. So it's super exciting to be on today to share a little bit about my journey and especially this new book, the 7th book I've written, Epic Leadership. So super excited about that.
Not the 7th. Okay. Where have I been? So why this book? Why now?
I believe that we all are leaders. We're all the CEO of our lives. And when you think about leadership, oftentimes we get afraid of being a leader or being called a leader. But even when we hear the word epic, we think, whoa, that's huge, that's big. Can I really achieve it? So it's really a challenge for individuals to really venture through their journey of leadership. And for me to share some of the pillars that I've learned along my journey that have allowed me to get to where I am and really be able to fulfill my God-filled destiny.
I love it. So I'm going to break down a few questions before we jump right into our topic 5 tips for epic success. And I love the fact that you're pointing out that everybody has some leadership qualities. There are people, I think, well, let me ask you, do you think leaders are born with it or are they made?
I think it's a mixture of both. Our environment kind of breeds a lot of what we experience and what we deliver to the world. So I believe that we all have the traits to be a leader. And oftentimes our environment and our training helps us to be better. But I think it's a little mix of both for sure.
So anyone can become a leader is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the great. I'm glad that's good news for us watching. And I think sometimes, as you said, people are shy about that title. They never sometimes accept the fact that other people see them as a leader. I think that happens a lot of times if you are, not necessarily a parent. For example, I know parents automatically become leaders because if you have a kid, oftentimes, that you're the role model, like it or not. But those single people in the house, let's go, are those of us who don't necessarily have a title like yourself, or people think of me, lawyer, or another titles that we have. They may not have these titles, and therefore they don't think of themselves as a leader. But what makes an everyday person a leader?
Like I said, our lives are meant to be managed. You're breathing. You have to decide what you're going to do, how are you going to do it, how are your actions and your goals and even your talents are going to be manifested into the world. So as long as you're breathing, as long as you have life, you have to lead in one way or another. It's all about making decisions. We make decisions every day. So that makes us leaders naturally.
I love it. So every moment of your life, you are either following or leading. So we got to think about that. And whether we're aware, it sounds like, of decisions we're making them. Right.
Exactly.
To not make a decision is to make one. I've been thinking about that lately. Had some food for thought and a great conversation this weekend. But yes, they bear some responsibility to lead. I hear you, Great Pill. Also media influencers for sure. So whatever walk of life you're in, you'll be shocked, I think, sometimes who's watching and who thinks of you as a leader. So we want to leave you with some tips for success today. And I love the title of the show, 5 Tips for Epic Success. So you wrote this book. And I want to, I guess we're going to dovetailing into what you wrote about. Y'all got to get the book first to get the full in-depth deep dive, but we're going to give you a Cliff Notes shortened version today, so you'll come away with some tips after watching as to how you can become better in terms of your leader. Should I say leadership qualities? And I was going to say leadership abilities and the ways in which you feel that you can apply this information. You don't have to be the head of an organization to be a leader. You are leading, regardless of your awareness of such. Hey, little Ernest, checking in from the Caribbean islands. Let's go. I envy you, sir. So we're getting ready to jump right in. So the book is called, tell them real quick again what the book is called.
Yes, the book is called Epic Leadership. So today's show is going to be a good merger of the last two books that I've written, Epic Leadership and the 5 G's of Success are the last two I've written. So it's going to be basically a good merge of those two books. And I'm excited about delving in and having this discussion today, for sure.
I love it. And your website, just so we throw it out there, is Danny
Empower. Yeah,
Danny A-N-I Empower. So it's in the description, y'all. So again, we're going over the short version. She has several books. You guys can go check it out. Are they on Amazon and other platforms?
All of them are Amazon searchable, and all of them are also on my website as well.
Okay, so Danny Empowers, let's go. So what would be the first tip you have for epic success?
Absolutely. So I want to also start with Epic Leadership, right? So Epic Leadership, the pillar of Epic is the acronym for EPIC, which stands for Execution, Purpose, Innovation, and Character. So those are the 4 pillars of Epic Leadership, right? And as we talk about epic success, what's the blueprint for success as it relates to being epic? I'm going to give you the 5 steps right now. So the first step is obviously setting your goals. We just started a new year. We're rounding up the first quarter. So you definitely want to be able to identify what your goals are. Success is given to those who are clear and specific to what they want to achieve, right? So you think about different areas of your life where you're trying to decipher where you want to go, be it your career, your finances, your relationship status, right? So you have to set certain goals. So number 1, first step, first rule is have your goals set, okay? That's the first one, all right? Now, I want to tell you this from the audience perspective. I'm a professor, right? So I have to give you things that you're going to be able to remember. So the 5 rules starts with all G's, okay? They all starts with the G. So the first G is goals. You got to be specific, get clear about what your goals are as it relates to where you want to have success, right? So that's the first G, is goals. I don't know if you want me to go right through them.
No, I want it because I'm very curious. So I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the viewer. Everybody watching, shout out to y'all again. Commissioner Daniela Jean, please, or Danielle Jean. I gotta give her respect. Put respect on her name. And she's a 7-time author talking about a combination, like she said, of her last 2 books. The one we are promoting now is called Epic Leadership.
Yeah.
And before she had talked about the 5 G's of success. So you're going to combo 2 for 1. Let's go.
Yes.
So the first one being goals. I want to ask, especially for those of us, we're coming right into, 2024 with a bang. Some of us knew what we wanted this year. Some of us didn't. Right. I think sometimes, people can fall into slumps or may not have some clear direction so that they write these goals. Sometimes you are hungry and straight up this year, whether it's I'm going to make a certain amount, whether I'm going to get promoted, start my own, side hustle business, whatever. There are people that have that hunger and drive. But say there is someone watching that maybe is not as clear on their goals. How can they get clarity if they're not sure yet what they're even searching for? They know they want success, but they're not sure of the vision for that success. What would you recommend that they do?
You said a key word right there, which is vision. We in this busy time that we're living in, you have to take some time out for yourself and get some silent time. Get some time to really not balance, but prioritize. What are your top 3 priorities? Are they your health? Are they your finances? Are they your relationship status? Those are 3 things, right? So condense it into what are your priorities right now? What areas of your life do you feel like you have no direction in? So take some quiet time, be it by yourself, go to the beach, go to the park, go to your room, go to your closet, wherever there's time, quiet space, and really think about 3 areas of your life where you really want to see change. I think that's the beginning of really being able to decide what area can we really get success out of. So if it's your finances, you might say, you know what, everything else is perfect, but I want to save $10,000 by the end of this year. So that might be your goal right there once you're able to set your priorities based on where you
Mhm.
are.
I
Yeah.
love it. So getting quiet and also looking for three major areas in your life where you want change. I think that's really good. And that starts you off on journaling, writing it down, thinking about
Yes.
what do I want to improve. If I'm not happy with that certain area of my life, what is it that I want to see that I don't see, and how I want to live, perhaps in a way that I may not be living now. So I think that does help us. Thank you very much for honing in on what matters the most to you and where in your life you'd like to seek change. So I think that's very powerful. So get quiet,
Yes.
head to the beach, South Florida, or wherever you need to go. Your
Yes.
sweet spot for meditation and reflection. Because I think sometimes, again, with all the noise, it's easy to
Mm.
get caught up in what other people are doing. Help us all, God, and we got to really look within and get quiet and assess ourselves, not against other people's progress, but against our own progress for what we want for our lives. I love
100%.
that. I love that. So we got 1G, we got
Yep.
goal setting. Very important, no
Yes.
matter the age or stage you're in, guys. So take some time out to do that. What else can we do as far as our
You,
tips for
you know,
epic
this
success?
epic success. The second rule is going to be GPS. GPS. So I want you to think about, have you ever gone somewhere with someone and they said, I know where to go. You like, do you want me to put in the GPS? They're like, no, we know where to go. And you end up being lost, right? Because you have no idea what are the directions. They're like turn left,
Yes.
turn right. And so GPS really stands for, how do you what steps do you take? Once you have that goal, the goal is a destination, but you need a pathway there, right? So the GPS is going to be a step-by-step plan or a direction, if you will, to get you to where you want to go. So if I say I want to go back to school, one step might be to research the school, find out about financial aid options, find out if there's scholarships available. So you're taking the step-by-step plan. Just because GPS routes us and reroutes us, you're taking a step-by-step action plan to getting you step by step closer to that final destination, that finish line. So it's so important. And along that GPS, there's also is goal positioning system, right?
Mm.
There's going to be people, there's going to be pit stops along the way, but it's really navigating you. And because a lot of us have goals, but we don't know how to get to them. We don't have a plan, an active plan, and you have to be able to execute certain directional steps to get you towards that goal.
So breaking it down. So once you have the vision for your three major areas of life you want to see change in and what specifically type of change you like to see, then you have to break it down, it sounds like, into steps.
Yeah.
So the planning of the turn left, turn right, okay, GPS, to get you hopefully by the end of this 365 or even maybe in a quicker time period, the steps you need to take is also going to require some thought and planning. So not only figuring out what is it that you want, in my pastor, hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas voice, what do you want? What do you really want? I realize a lot of people don't know, and it's not to shade them because I've been there as well. It's to say, all of us can have stages again where we are a little bit murky on the
Sure.
future. And I pray about it even last night. I pray, God, show me this what you want for me, and then
Yes.
allow me the strength and the mental fortitude and the right connections, and like you're saying, the plan to go get it. He'll bless it, but you have to have the plan to go get it. So I love that. Y'all, if you're watching on Facebook and LinkedIn, come over to my YouTube side. Please come
Yes.
subscribe, watch me on YouTube as well. I thank everybody who is watching live. Team replay, hit the like button. Talking to Commissioner Daniela Jean. She's from the city of North Miami Beach, 7-time author, and breaking down tips for epic success. So we've gone through a couple. If you're just joining, hit the like button, please, and share if you can. So I wanted to get back to the tips. So we're in the goal setting, we're in the GPS, right? The
Yeah.
breaking down of the steps to get to each goal, which is very helpful. What else should we be doing if we want epic success?
Epic success. The third G is grit.
Mm.
Grit. Grit. Not grits, y'all. Not grits. Grit. So, when you think about, for example, athletes, right? They all wear these shoes that have spikes on the bottom. And the spikes allow them to be able to run or walk on any kind of terrain, be if it's raining, snowing, whatever. And that's really called grit. And during the course of your life, as you're trying to get to success, epic success, you're going to have to get gritty, have that resilience, determination, perseverance, that no matter what the obstacle is ahead of you, you are going to get gritty, have grit, and push through. A lot of times, once we have the goal, we figure out the steps that we want to take to get there. But there's so many obstacles that come in our way that we don't have the resilience and the determination to go forth and go and press through. You gotta have grit. Grit is like that resilience that gets you through every single time. You gotta have
Super,
grit.
super important. So not only finding out where you want to go, getting quiet, figuring out the steps, hopefully. And if you don't know, get help. There are people, coaching, friends even, that can help you plan the step by step, move in this direction. This is how you break what you want down into the steps. So, sorry, I was grabbing some water. Is grit is important. The follow through, the follow up,
Yeah, that resilience,
and the
that push
and the
through.
desire to, even when you're deterred, because I think it's sometimes very difficult for people to, especially people of faith, understand when grit is required versus, oh, this is a closed door or a no, or some kind of opportunity that kind of, shuts down
Sure.
or doesn't materialize. That's a big one. I thought I was supposed to be doing this and the person said no, or, end up being not what I thought it would be. And it becomes discouragement. How do you know when to still press gas and go forward versus this is a sign from God that this ain't me, and I've been trying this for 10 years? Because then it takes, I was watching a profile, I think it was on 60 Minutes last night, with, I forget the name of the actor. He's the oh my gosh, Killian, I can't think of his last name, from Oppenheimer. And he said, I forget which director told him, takes 30 years to make an incredible actor, because even though you have the natural skill and talent, the life experience that you hopefully are gathering over that 30 years, how to deal with people, how people act and behave, relate to one another. Then you, like, think about that. If you're starting in your 20s and your 50s is when you're getting to be, creme de la creme of your profession. And I think sometimes we want it early. We want it when other people have it, when others around us have it, and it's not,
That part.
necessarily meant for you. But when it comes to the gritty part, give us an example. Either, you can make it up, or that you've seen in your own life where you have had to have that fortitude, that stick-to-itiveness, persistence, versus telling you stop. Because I think some people get deterred too easily.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. I think grit is about showing up. Grit is about showing up, because your goal might morph into something else. It might morph into something new. But when you're showing up, even if the dream might change over time, you're still putting in that effort. You're still going and being resilient. A prime example for me, I've had so many different careers. I've started in healthcare. I was supposed to be a musician. Was supposed to go away for school and be a professional musician. That was my passion. That was my goal. Coming from Caribbean parents, that, like, you need to do something more practical. So I ended up majoring in biology and ultrasound at Barry University. And from that, I got my ultrasound certification, got my bachelor's, couldn't find work in ultrasound in healthcare. So I eventually started working in government, and 8 years in government. And then from that, I started writing my book. So success is a journey. And then eventually I became a politician, and I'm in that space right now. So define your own success. But no matter what, if you're destined to be great, if you're destined to know what your goals are, if your goals are supposed to be helping people, your passion is supposed to be helping people, that might change. The form might change. But as it relates to being in your purpose, in your gifting, you have to be gritty, because that might morph into different things, and you have to be ready for that. So
I hope we're helping somebody. I'll hit the like button, because I think in our culture, especially being the Black diaspora, let's call it that, there's so much pressure on success and what success, outward success, is supposed to look like, whether it's your bank account, whether it's how you dress, why you drive, where you live. There's so many markers that if you're not hitting those, especially by a certain age and stage, there's so much pressure on us. And I'm grateful that you are talking about how different it can look for different people, and that a career or a passion, whichever, some people vibe at the 9 to 5, and I'm going to climb till the C-suite, hits me in the face. Nothing wrong with that. But I think others of us have more creative, or just a lot more, it's not just entrepreneurial, but it's just a different expressiveness that we
Sure.
need to be happy, to fully be ourselves in this world. And I think sometimes we have to allow ourselves permission to be, different, to explore,
Yes.
as you said, the
Yes.
same route, but different opportunities. And I think I have even encountered how some people they may not understand why you're doing what you're doing, and
Yeah.
that's okay
Yeah. Yep.
because it doesn't fit the traditional route or what they know, or maybe even their own self-limited self-limited thoughts or thinking of
Yes.
what they could do or what they should be doing. We got to be
100.
very careful of this, guys, because I think there are people that mean well, family, hey, others that we love that mean well, but then sometimes turn around and it's like shooting down your very essence,
No.
your very inspiration. And I do think there are times where you have to reevaluate, right? Sometimes you have to do the side hustle and the 40-hour work week
Yeah.
in order just to survive. And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. But I
Yeah.
do think sometimes we don't give ourselves or our loved ones permission to morph and become who they are becoming, even though, like yourself, or I think of, it doesn't have to be as epic as like say Maya Angelou, but she went from working in, bars and then to Broadway and then to, she had like 10 lives in
Yeah.
different careers and different stages. But I think we have to be content that others may not understand it,
That's
but
it right
you
there.
might have to, quietly push yourself and stick to the, as you said, the common thread, the
Yeah.
helping of people. I'm a creator, not just in the sense of content creator, but I see what can be in people and in things.
Yes.
Whatever I'm touching, that's where my sweet spot is. I'm like looking at it. How can this be improved? How can we enhance this? How
Yeah.
can this be a better experience? Whether I'm putting on an event, whether I'm watching, I was down at in Miramar watching the Afro Carib Festival. There's so much going on,
Yeah.
guys, in South Africa, South Florida, for Black History Month. Give me
There
together.
is. There
But
is.
I was at two events this weekend, and it was so much fun. But I could just in my mind think, ooh, they could do this. This would be even better.
Yes.
Like, and
Yes.
it's not to be critical. It's just a matter of that's my I
That's your
don't know, my
gifting.
my
That's your
frame.
gifting. That's your frame.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
to try to bring out the best, that next level in
Sure.
people and in what is happening. I think I take pride in it. I couldn't understand it and articulate it as such before, but wherever you see me, that's a common thread. So think about that, guys, when you're talking about your goals and your vision for this year. Hey, Uplifting Actions. Good to see everybody in the chat. Wonderful 34. Lauren Nez, Great Bill Podcast. I'm glad to see you. Check out upliftingactions.com. Husband and wife, beautiful platform that tries to shift the mindset of people when they need it. And they have a fantastic weekly newsletter that has
Beautiful.
techniques for how to shift. And again, from your thinking into action, such that you're building the life that you want. We're here with We're getting deep. Commissioner Daniela
We
Jean
are getting
on
deep.
how to get your mind right and take the 5 steps
Yeah.
that she's described so eloquently in her several books. And so all of your books are on leadership?
No, no, this is the first time I've actually written a leadership book,
Okay.
which have made it very scary for me because, you know, when you say epic, when you say
Mhm.
leadership, people are like, ooh. But I
Makes
realize, right, exactly. But I've simplified it to a point where you can actually see that it's simple. Okay, like again, the 4 pillars: execution, purpose, innovation, and character. It's a self-discovery journey, and since we're looking at it through the Christian lens, you know, the Spirit of God kind of tells us, leads us. Once you're spirit-led, you'll go
Mm.
to places that people never assumed that you would ever go venture through, because our lives don't belong to us. So whatever you see me do in purpose, I'm doing it for a higher calling as well. And if we're moving in that realm, we're going to accomplish great things that we never
Mhm.
could imagine. Our imaginations can't even fathom. So, and that kind of gives us the relief of, okay, I can live outside the box because I'm meant to live outside the box. So
There's so
that's
much you just
important.
said, girl. We can't even
Yeah.
unpack all of it, but that beauty of understanding your life is not your own. There are
Yeah.
so many other reasons you're here. Sometimes we don't even understand ourselves and we're not able to
Yeah.
identify quickly in in the earlier stages of our journey. And there are times that I shout out to the late bloomers. to folks who, again, don't necessarily figure it all
Yeah,
out by 19, 20, 25, 30, even,
that part.
and allow themselves to continue to evolve. And let's create space for folks to continue to evolve. No matter their age and stage, you are, your best cheerleader, but you also, you. That's another thing I think.
Mhm.
Sometimes other people, even my good friends, can misunderstand me. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, but I thought you knew me. Like, where
Yeah,
that came from?
we're always
Not in a
evolving.
shady way, but more so in like a talent or even intent,
Sure.
ability, ways in which I, can morph into different spaces. I'm like, wow, even some of the people that love you the most have limitations for you that they are not even aware
Yes,
of. So you got to be
correct.
very careful in what you're taking in and
100.
how you're letting it impact you and where you want to go. So yeah, we getting in this. Y'all
Yes,
gonna have to get the book. Make sure you go to Dani, Dani, empowers.com
yes,
to find the book, find all her books, and you can find them also on Amazon. And we have a couple more tips. Let's get
yeah.
into it.
Couple
For
more
epic
things.
success, for those just joining, I see many more on the live. If you're team replay, again, hit the like button. We hope we're encouraging you today to think about, success in a different way and how you can
Yeah,
obtain it. So
that's
most
right.
definitely enjoying this conversation. So what else can we be doing to ensure epic success in our lives?
Yeah, and remember, epic is you're epic. We're epic. We define who we are, and let no one put a label on you. Let no one
Mhm.
define who you are because we're ever evolving. So the fourth rule, the fourth G, is grind. Grind. You gotta put in that hard work. You gotta put in the hard work. You gotta outwork yourself, your old version of yourself. You mentioned something earlier about not comparing yourself to others. Sometimes we do get inspiration from people, but as it relates to working hard, you're going to have to put in that sweat equity. In order to get success, success is not given to everybody. Success is not a luxury that everybody enjoys if they're not willing to put in the work. So you're going to have to grind it out. I always say I might not be the smartest, I might not be the fastest, but I will outwork anybody. So you have to grind it out. Grind, hard work.
Yes. I
Sometimes
love the
it takes 30 years, but sometimes it takes 30 days. Sometimes it takes 3 days. So you gotta put in that hard work. You cannot negotiate that G. That fourth
yes.
rule right there, you gotta grind it out.
Sorry, I didn't want to interject, but I always
Yes,
think of
go for
Cheryl
it.
Lee Ralph. She's having more than a moment right now. You guys know, from
Yes,
Super
absolutely.
Bowl to the Emmy Award she won last year, and singing the Black National Anthem, all these things. And people were like, amazing, who is this woman? We've been watching Cheryl Lee Ralph,
Yes,
Dream Girls days. But she's like, yeah, it only took me 40 years to become an overnight success.
yeah,
And I'm so happy, she's getting her flowers and being recognized and booked and busy.
yes.
But sometimes we were hidden for so long, we could feel like, oh my gosh, I know I felt this way. I'm like, Lord, really?
Yep,
People
yep.
think I got so much more money than I have, and I really wish God would just bless me like I
In
know
due
He can.
season. In due
But
season.
yeah, that's what I say. I mean, like, what I mean by that is, like, when you're doing a lot of hosting and things with high visibility,
Yes.
sometimes you even do it for, the favor, because I
Mhm.
believe in the project, or I believe in the person that is, putting together whatever event. For example, I'm getting ready. I just was asked to, and I just want to promote it real quick. Uh, it's called Lights Camera Action. It's a Zoom conference this Sunday, and I just told her yes. And I'm like, but I have my own event coming up Tuesday. Celebrating Men of the Movement will be this coming Tuesday, y'all. Don't forget. But in just listening to her and her heart, she wants to protect people from being exploited and abused in the media industry, and that's
Mhm.
something I can align with. I have had my moments where fine print in the in the contract or beyond that, sometimes even
Yeah.
harassment. And she wants to protect folks who are in the entertainment industry, people with children in the entertainment industry. And we're going to have a couple of panels and a fireside chat coming up.
Awesome.
Shout out to her. And I wish I had the information, but I just wanted to put it out there. But yeah, so things like this, sometimes things come into your lap where it's not a big check, but it's like, oh, you know what? I feel this. And I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
first, create a larger platform for what they're talking about. So let's collab, let's do it. But yeah, sometimes the blessings come in other ways, is what I want to say. It's not always monetary, especially in the beginning, where there's a lot of networking happening and figuring out, who's really pro, you on your team for
Sure.
real, or just wants to see you succeed, or who's trying to, ride the bandwagon, or feels as if,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
a exploitive relationship, which is like, wait a minute, pause. We're not trying to do that. So it takes a while to weed through,
Yeah.
your own desires, the network you're creating, and to also see clearly, what aligns with you so that you say yes, or what doesn't so you say no. And
Sure.
those things take time. As she
Me
says, this
too.
is a long, or longer for some, process.
It all
Um,
depends. It all
that we yeah, it
depends.
depends on your whole trajectory. We don't know. Thank you. Uplifting. I just said I absolutely love that you said out of work your old excuse me,
Outwork your old
outwork
self.
your
Yeah.
old self.
Outwork
Sorry.
your old
Yes.
self.
Hit the
And
like button. I see you in the chat.
yeah,
Hey,
and
Aria,
I
go
wanted to
ahead.
add to that point, about grind. When we think about like what you said as it relates to artistry and professionalism and our brand and our entrepreneurship, grind also means developing systems that work best for you. And so,
Mhm.
the Bible talks about your gifts will make room for you. And sometimes those gifts are, bring monetary bring you in monetary room. Sometimes it's just a level of exposure so that your gifts can be able to enhance somebody else. But that leads me into the fifth G, which is growth. You know,
Yay.
how you began when you had, one thing, and you moving on, now you have 10. You have to be able to be a better steward of those things, and you also have to be able to grow. Growth means you're able to analyze yourself, assess yourself, and see how, based on, the goals, based on the GPS, the grit, the grind. Now it's time to grow. At the beginning, we used to say, okay, I come for of soda, a sandwich, and a bag of chips. Now we have to be like, look, I got to put gas in my car, right? So, and that might have to be a speaker's contract where that says, look, you might not be able to afford my fee, but you might have to buy a book, or you might have to book a consulting session, because our gifts are supposed to make room for us, but we're also supposed to then be able to in turn serve others and expand our reach to reach more. And oftentimes, be it ministry, business, government, politics, it takes funds, it takes capital. And so, as we grow, not only in our brand, outside, inside, not only outside growth, how you dress, how you present, the inside, the character, your systems, how are you presenting as a business person? If you do one pro bono, are you able to then get another high paying
Kick
contract
out of it.
and being
Yep.
able to kind of grow? Because the whole point of us being here is to be able to reach who we were purposed to reach. So, growth
Mhm.
is part of that process. How you met me is not how you're going to see me a year from now, because we're constantly
Hey.
evolving, growing, and that's what epic success is all about, that growth process as well.
I love
Yeah.
that. I think, yeah, it's a step-by-step process. I think sometimes listening to other entrepreneurs that talk about not skipping that step, because I think sometimes if we had the magic wand and we had the, I don't know, $1 million in our account, what would we be? How would we appreciate it? How would we be stewards over it? Would we appreciate what it takes
Yep.
to get there? And I think we have a better view, and we're more likely to keep it when we get,
Sure.
or keep it going, if we've gone through those bruises and bumps and challenges that go with this climb, right? This journey
Yeah.
that we're on, each of us, towards our own destination of epic success. We are
Yeah.
all epic already.
Yeah.
I hope you guys remember that, and I love the way you put it. It's really unfortunate, I guess, in society that we have narrowed what is epic and who is epic, and that my journey has less value because I'm not yet at this
Sure.
monetary level, et cetera, et cetera. We got to really, separate and free our minds from these limiting beliefs.
We
And what
do.
we're learning on this journey and who we're meant to serve is so much more important. Help us all to remember that,
Yeah.
oh God, and help us to move in that direction accordingly. That again, I ask all the time just to have my purpose fulfilled, even in this interview or in
Yeah.
wherever I'm putting myself, because it can be very nerve wracking. And again, opportunities can come that's not even really meant for you. So
Mhm.
you also have to have that uplifting actions, knows what I'm talking about, discernment, in your climb. But I thank you so much. I want to leave you with the final word because I want people to get her book, Dani Empowers, DANI Powers.com. It's
Yeah.
in the description, you guys. Go ahead and support her. Find her on Amazon. Find her on socials too. On Instagram, Dani Empowers. She's all over the place. But again, her leadership is definitely respected and felt throughout the South Florida community, but especially where she serves in North Miami Beach. But I want to give you the final word and tip if you want to leave us with something else when it comes to
Yeah.
tips for success and epic success in
Yeah.
this journey.
Yeah, so I want to hone in and give you that quick recap. Epic success, epic leadership is the name of the new book, Epic Leadership, and it's kind of emerged between the last two books, Epic Leadership and the 5 G's of success. So you are already epic. That's just the bottom line. And as I said before, setting up your goals, knowing how you're going to get there, what are your method, having grit, having grind, and being able to grow. It's all about growth and all about being able to embrace where you are. Embrace where you are so that you can appreciate where you are and then build from that, right? That's the whole point of epic leadership, is that we're taking the time to execute, to be in purpose, to be innovative, and to have character. So I really want to challenge you for the rest of this year. Kind of close your eyes and think about where you want to be December 31st of this year and start setting that plan in motion. Surround yourself with individuals who want to see you succeed and be epic, because that's what you already are. You already have everything inside of you to succeed. And whatever else you have, surround yourself with the individuals, put yourself in the right environment, and be brave enough to advocate for yourself. When you need to speak up, find your voice. There's so many different elements, but you got to get the book in order for you to really.
Listen, she's giving us a lot already, y'all. Let's put your hands together.
A little bit of everything.
Check out her last couple of books, especially Epic Leadership, available on Amazon. Thank you, RM. Dani Empowers. You see her website right there on your screen. It's also in the caption of the video. So please find out more about her and her leadership book. I am really excited for her. This was really big. I saw you do. I couldn't make it, but your book signing actually up in Fort Lauderdale at Smitty's. That was amazing. Saw that on Instagram. But I wanted to just allow you this moment to share all the wonderful things that you've put in writing for others to hopefully learn from, benefit from, and grow from, on this journey to epic success. So thank you everybody for watching. Hit the like button, please. Check her out. Thank you, Great Pill. RM, one of my fantastic moderators, also has a wonderful channel. Check her out, y'all. There's so much going on in the chat, but shout out to everybody watching. Thank you for watching Team Replay. Hit the like button. Daniela, thank you for making time for the Suzette Speaks Show, and much success on this new book. We will see you back, hopefully, very soon. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hit the like button on your way out. Bye now.